What is going on, everybody? Welcome to The Shift on YouTube with not just Francisco Rojas anymore. If you've been paying attention to my Twitter, if you've been paying attention to this channel, you've seen the major announcement. Not just The Shift with Francisco Rojas anymore. I have my guy, have a new co-host, Nick Earnshaw. He will be joining me to do some videos on this channel. And more importantly, we're bringing the podcast back, man. Of course, you're going to be getting videos every week. You're probably getting more videos now, but you're also getting the Shift podcast back. Me and Nick Earnshaw will be getting you daily podcasts every week. And man, I'm super excited. He's super stoked. You should be too. That's coming back, man. And so go make sure that we don't have the podcast feed up yet. But when we do, I'll have the link to that in the description box for every video going forward, every single one, because look, the shift is back, baby, as far as the podcast goes. And we have a TikTok now, so I'll have that up here on the screen somewhere. Go make sure you follow us. So it's a lot of exciting stuff. Or obviously we're all, on Twitter as well and Instagram. You probably already know that. If not, I'll have that up here too as well for you to go follow us. But hey, and a few of our first episodes are probably going to be regarding the World Baseball Classic because the roster just got announced. Really exciting stuff. This is about the somewhere in the ballpark of like the 5th, 6th, or 7th time that this tournament is happening. It's really, really awesome stuff. I'm so hype for this World Baseball Classic, and you should be too because the rosters were just announced yesterday or last night, and look, I think maybe a couple of weeks ago, I was planning on doing, some team roster comparisons, the big ones. But you know what? Why not wait for the rosters to actually be revealed so then we can really talk about them? And it really comes down to this. I just wanted to simply put, who had the best roster. And I didn't want to jump to a conclusion because we've seen some of the speculation of who the rosters are going to be on Twitter, the announcements of who was committing to which country. And I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to just, say, oh, this team has the best roster. I wanted to wait till the rosters really got announced. And, I kind of wanted to do a bit of due diligence and not, jump to the conclusion of, oh, this team has the best roster off the bat without me even looking at them. So I looked at a bunch of them. Some of them you can just kind of, sneak peek and say like, all right, well, we're not sneak peek. You know what I mean? Just peek at them and okay, it's that they're not even comparing to this roster. Don't even need to do any extra research, whatever. But at the end of the day, it came down to two, and I knew it was. It came down to two rosters. Team USA, Team Dominican Republic, who had the better roster. Look, there were a couple of the rosters I liked. I liked Venezuela. I like Mexico. Japan I don't know too much about because Japan is, a lot of those players play over there in Japan and those Asian leagues, and they're great leagues out there, but I don't really know too much about them. So Japan, they're probably gonna be a good team on paper. They have Ohtani, they have Seiya Suzuki, they have a bunch of major league players over there. I know Lars Nootbaar. I had no idea he was. Lars Nootbaar is over there for Team Japan. But I don't know too much about them. I think they got to the semifinals last World Baseball Classic. But really, man, there's some other good rosters, there's some other good teams. Team Israel has some other good names as well. But, dude, it comes down to Team USA and Team Dominican Republic. And, like, if you just take a quick glance at both rosters, it's like, oh, they're both stacked. It's like, oh, who's better? But, man, like, it came, I wrote them down. I just wrote out the lineups first because I wanted to see who would be starting the catcher, first base, and so on in the lineups. And I mean, the U.S. is better. I mean, it comes Real Muto over Gary Sanchez. I thought, Real Muto starting over Gary, or Real Muto will be starting for Team U.S. Gary Sanchez for Team Dominican Republic. I mean, Trey Turner, Nolan Arenado, McNeil, Goldschmidt, Mike Trout, Kyle Tucker. they all check boxes. These are just me personally, what will be my projected starting lineups for each team. And look, Dominican Republic, really good too. I mean, Jeremy Pena would be my starting shortstop. Manny Machado, Ketel Marte, Vladdy Jr. Vladdy Jr. is really freaking good. But Paul Goldschmidt coming off his MVP season, I'm taking Goldie right now. He's the hottest. And not that Vladdy didn't have a good season. He did have a good season. The only one that checked boxes for me were Juan Soto in the outfield, maybe over like a Mookie, I guess. I don't know. And I guess you can do what you want with that outfield. I don't know where exactly each one's going to play. Julio Rodriguez, Teoscar Hernandez. Really good outfield. Really good young outfield, too. I mean, Julio's coming off. Julio's going to be maybe one of the all-time greats. I don't know. I don't want to put that label on him yet, but maybe want to be one of the all-time greats. I mean, we still have Trout and Tucker in that outfield. And maybe I give, depending, that they're talking about maybe Devers and Machado fighting for time over there in third base, but I think Devers would be my DH. And I would take Devers over Pete Alonso. I think Pete Alonso would be the DH because Goldschmidt will be playing first base. Obviously, a better defensive first baseman than Alonso and better offensively. So, but overall, like, the U.S. has a better lineup than the Dominican Republic. Like, straight up, the U.S. just much better on, like, looking at that lineup. And then starting pitching, I mean, Dominican Republic has some really incredible pitchers over there. Sandy Alcantara, Johnny Cueto. He's old, but he's coming off a good year for the White Sox. Like, people don't talk about that enough. Christian Javier. He threw a combined no-hitter in the World Series, right? I mean, that kid's one of the best younger pitchers, in the sport of baseball. Really good. Roansy Contreras, really young, good pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates. But, I mean, the U.S. is a tiny bit deeper for me. Like Nestor Cortez, Merrill Kelly, Clayton Kershaw. I mean, Lance Lynn coming off kind of a shaky year with an injury and stuff like that. But Miles Michaelis coming off a good year. Brady Singer coming off a good year. Adam Wainwright. Like, he's older, but he came off a good year. Like, the U.S. starting pitching-wise, I have to take over the Dominican Republic. Just, deeper. The only one that I would say where they're about even is relief pitching. Both are really good. U.S. is Devin Williams, Kendall Graveman, Jason Adam coming off an incredible year, Ryan Presley, David Bednar coming off a great year. But the Dominican Republic's really good there too. Brian Abreu, Diego Castillo, Camilo Duvall, really good. Jose Leclerc, Montero, Hector Neris, Gregory Soto, which I'm excited about as a Phillies fan. You could debate there, but overall in the roster, I'm giving the edge starting pitching and big edge in the lineups. Both are really good teams, both really stacked. You have to feel really good about both of your teams. If you're a Team US fan or a Dominican Republic fan, whatever your rooting interest is, both really good teams. But I got to give the edge to the US, just a bit more stacked. But really fun teams, man. Really fun teams. US, Dominican Republic, Team Puerto Rico is really good. Venezuela is really good. Japan's probably going to be really good. There's some. Cuba might be really good. There's some, and there's some teams that are just pretty good in international play. But I'm talking about as a baseball fan. This is me just looking at the rosters, like the team. And I know I'm probably a little bit biased because I live in the United States, but Team US has the best roster. In my mind, I don't think there's really any doubt about that. But I want to hear from you. Who do you think has the best roster? Who has the best roster right now on paper going into this World Baseball Classic? I want to hear from you. Is it Team Dominican Republic? Is it the U.S.? Is it not one of these two? Is it Puerto Rico? Is it Venezuela? Is it one of these other teams? I'm really excited for the World Baseball Classic. Let me know what you think. Follow me on all the social media. Look out for the new podcast that's coming. See you guys soon.